Hi, my name is Lexi Volson, and I did my career presentation on marriage and family therapist. I was able to get an interview with Julie Whaley. She's actually a member of my ward, and she is a marriage and family therapist, and she does private practice. So her job title is a marriage and family therapist. She also has an MA and an MC. Her institution, because it is a private practice, she was able to come up with her own name for it, and it is called the Family Connection Counseling Center. Her website is julie.whaley.com, and the institution is here in Colorado Springs. The type of institution the type of organization that she has is, because it's a local organization, her typical work hours are pretty flexible. Generally, she actually works with one other person in her building, so it's kind of like a government building, and then inside the building there's a room with two other rooms in it, and each of them have one room. So they just kind of rent out that space together and switch off on the days that they're there. So they actually don't see each other very often, which she said is kind of sad. She wishes she had more of a social life with her coworkers, or coworker, as the case is. But anyways, because it's a private practice, her typical work hours are flexible. She goes in when she feels that she needs to, and she makes her own hours, which is very family friendly. She's mentioned that she speaks with her clients on a weekly basis to schedule appointments and things like that. And if something were to come up in her family where there was an emergency or something like that, she's very easily able to reschedule or schedule out and make it so that she can be there for her family whenever she needs to, which was actually super attractive to me, because I do want to be a mom, and I do want to put my kids first, as well as be able to help these people in this career. So I found that very attractive about the career, in that making your own hours also makes it very family friendly. She mentioned that some of the stressors of the job mostly come with the knowledge of understanding what you're going in there to do. It's not just a job, you're holding people's lives in your hands. And as we've read in this class, about all of the ethical things that go along with it, she mentioned that some of the stressors of the job are understanding the importance of the job. You can't just go in one day and not really have your heart in it and not really try. It's important that you give your all every time that you're in a session, so that your clients are able to experience the best that you have. She mentioned that another stress is feeling the weight of what she does. Oftentimes, if something doesn't go well, or if the clients, you don't see them progressing, it can be hard, and it can feel like you're failing them. There's also a lot of collateral involved in the job, emotional collateral and things like that, just things that can get lost, and it can be devastating if they don't go well. And it can be very hard to make sure that you keep track of those types of things. She said that it can be emotionally taxing, feeling the weight of people's experiences. Generally, in this setting, a lot of hard things are said, very personal things are shared, and she has to be able to separate what she learns in work from going home, and just kind of be able to feel the relief and not have that burden on her when she goes home. So it can be very emotionally taxing. She said as far as the job, it's hard to keep up with the number of clients. You need to make sure that each client is a priority. Make sure that you take your time to make sure that they're getting the best care available to them, and keeping control of the clientele. With a private practice, there's not very much advertising done. And so it's very important that, you do really well, so that word of mouth, your practice gets kind of passed around and refers people out to you. And that's mostly the most common way that she receives clients, is through word of mouth of other clients she's had who have benefited from her services. As far as the typical benefits of this job, generally, if you work for an agency, there are the typical benefits, health benefits, a 401k, different things like that. With a private practice, because you run it yourself, there are no benefits. But if you work for an agency, then there are the typical benefits that you would see in another job. Julie says that when she was first starting in this in the world of marriage and family therapy, she worked for another clinic and she was able to receive benefits that helped her family as far as healthcare and dental and different things like that. But as far as right now, she does not receive benefits. Some of the daily tasks that she has in this job are obviously she sees clients. She sees them as often as she can and as they need to help their progression. There's a lot of paperwork involved. She takes notes on the sessions so that she can go back and look at them and make sure that her clients are getting the help that they need by assessing where they were at and where they need to go and making goals for them and things like that. Um, she mentioned that it's important to keep up on the models and the research, depending on what your clients need at that time. It's important that you understand the latest research and that you're up to date on it. And this sometimes involves conferences and it sometimes involves other such tasks as going back and studying the models and things, especially if there's a particular model that would work for a case that she's working on at the time. Her job tasks include studying about the client, going back, looking through records. She says that sometimes if you're working with a client and you feel like you have kind of hit a wall, going back through and looking at their progress so far kind of opens things up and helps you kind of gain an understanding of where they need to go. And making sure that her practice is client directed. She talks a lot with the clients about making goals and helping them understand what they're trying to get out of therapy and how she can do her job as the therapist to get them there. The requirements for this degree is a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's in clinical counseling. Julie took 2 years at the Denver Family Institute, and she also has an AAMFT accreditation. Those aren't necessarily required for a marriage and family therapist. They were required for the specific private practice that she wanted to run. But generally, a master's or a PhD will get you into the marriage and family therapy general area. As far as a starting salary range, because it is private practice, she charges by the hour. So it depends on how often she sees clients. And this is the same for the experience salary range. It's not different. You charge per hour. She did say that the more experienced you are, oftentimes the more clients you have. And so the wage may go up if you have more clients and you see them more often. And I would imagine that goes with experience. But generally, it's not really different unless you just have more hours. When I asked her what else she wanted to tell me about this job, she said that she's very passionate about the work. She really loves helping the families and she really loves making a difference. And she loves being able to be there for her family as well. And I would say that because this is the job that I wanted to do, this career I wanted, those are the things that I most love about it as well. I really want to help people. I really want to strengthen marriages and families, but also I want to strengthen my own, and I want to do my best to make sure that I can make that happen. So.